what's up? All right, more Bach. So this is the solo in Brandenburg 4. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna actually play it. I don't know if I can because of copyright, but if you go to Brandenburg 4 and go to the first movement, 130, it starts at 141. I'll play a little of it right here. That's insane. So it's just a study of the solo. It's possibly one of the most melodic things I've ever heard. The changes are basic. I go over the changes in the video. So anyway, let's get started. This is like the most melodic thing ever. So, first of all, the changes you can probably see from the tab, but the changes are extremely simple. So this is a really interesting arpeggio study, and the sort of study in melody, how to make things melodic. It's a great arpeggio. I don't know. It's everything all in one. But the changes, it's just like it's in G. It's almost like a folk tune, or like a James Taylor kind of thing. Without a tempo, it's G to C, D, back to G, G, C, D, G, another G. And then we get the variations, the B minor, E minor, A7, to the 5-chord D. Then it switches key to A major, D major, relative minor, F sharp, and then an abrupt back to G. Kind of sounds like James Taylor. A7, regular A, that's going to pull to D, G, A7, D, G, A7, B minor, and finally at 2-5, pulling to A. So the solo ends. So kind of reminds me of Sweet Baby Jane now that I'm playing the chords. But anyway, it's the arpeggios and the way they're structured that's really interesting. So bar 1, G. It's pretty straightforward. You could play this any way. But then he adds the flat 7. Then we're going to C. We walk down from the root G to the third of C. So it's like a C/E. Now this is cool. This is all just a C arpeggio. You have to finger it like this almost because it's very, the fingering can be very challenging. That's why I had to play it really slow. Here he incorporates the major 7, B, and that leads us into, that run leads us into the third of D, F sharp. So this is a kind of a cool way to play arpeggios from the 5th string, 2nd finger, where you're skipping the 3rd string. D, F sharp, A, skip 3rd string, D, F sharp, A. I'll put that in tab. So from measure 3, starting from the F sharp of D, the 3rd, then he changes it. So we're not just going up and down arpeggios. That's what's cool. He plays the arpeggio, but then he outlines a D7 chord, skipping the root. And then walks down to the B of, the major 3rd of G. So we've started a theme here of walking down to the 3rd of each chord. And then he also does the string skip arpeggio. That's just laid out real straight. There's G, D. I'll put those in tab. So measure 4, D. And now we're off to a different theme. We're starting on a G, but starting on the B. So this is a nice run. That lays out nice on guitar. Measure 5. And then he introduces the flat 7, so it's G7. So we're doing a walk down, or an approach, sort of, to the 3rd of C. Now we're on C, measure 6. That's a nice C run. Then he introduces again, major 7. A, B, A, G. And that's just walking down to the F sharp. There's the string skip arpeggio with a little bit of melody on top. Back to the G. Again with the string skip arpeggio, measure 8. Now here we get to a drop 2 chord. Finally he gets away from these straight arpeggios and goes to drop 2 chords. Starting on the E, so the drop 2 of C is starting on the C, C, G. So that's just, you take a C arpeggio, or this C arpeggio, E, and we're taking the middle tone and dropping in an octave, so we end up with this. And then you invert it. I have a separate video on drop 2s. So, drop 2 is, let's see, measure 8. Except he does this is a major 7 drop 2. That's a really nice chord. He's really just playing the major 7 because it outlines the next chord. We're approaching the A, the 5th of D. So now he's approaching the 5th. So he doesn't always approach the 3rd. Sometimes you can approach the 5th. This is great stuff for soloing over changes. C, measure 8. And then measure 9 starts with a D, but you're on the A. And then you play the straight arpeggio. Relative minor, measure 9, D, the relative minor, B minor, but starting on the D, the 3rd. String skip. So he's kind of playing arpeggio and then a scale run, and this scale run is outlining the 3rd of E minor, the flat 3rd of E minor. So it's very thematic. He's doing the same thing, but on different chords. B minor, measure measure 10, E minor. Then plays the chord, A7, so it's 2-5 in D. That's A7, here's the D. So that'd make there's a 2-5 line. Change to 4-4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute. It's hard to swing when we're in 12. 1, 2. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not even sure if I'm in 4 yet. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. So you can modify it to 4, but the basic idea. There's that sudden jump, so the lines don't always have to be to the closest note. E minor. We don't have to go to a close note for the A7. Those jumps also sound really nice. E minor, and then the A7, starting on the C sharp, the third. And he's not doing drop twos here. He's just doing regular, and then back to D. A, just straight arpeggio. Measure 12, D. Get to the F sharp. It's actually F sharp minor 7 because of the E there. Walks down to the third of G, measure 13. This is a cool, because gets the B in there, or rather the major 7. So this is a theme in the entire solo. He's playing a chord, G, in this case G, and then he goes to the major 7 and walks down. In this case we're going to A7, so it walks right down to the C sharp, the third of A7. So we get repeats a similar theme on A7, but now he stretches out the chord a bit. So it's close, meaning the notes it's just a straight arpeggio. Well, there's a jump, C sharp to E, but that's just a straight arpeggio. But then he skips the A going up. Down to the F sharp of D, and then just plays a very straight arpeggio on D, A, same thing, back to D. There's the string skip arpeggio, measure 17. So what's going on there? Starting on the third. That's a cool run. Walks down to the C sharp, measure 18 in A7, measure 17, 18, measure 18, A7. Gets a little more scalular here, measure 18. Now G, drop 2 chords starting from the B. A7 starting on the 5th E. Down to the C sharp. F sharp, but starting from the third, the flat third, A. B minor from the E7, drop 2, and back to A. So a lot of variation. for measure 20, we're starting on the A7, but on the E note, the fifth of A. Straight arpeggio. Then on the F sharp, he does a drop 2. A, F sharp, C sharp. Little melody. Or that's just, so he's outlining the flat third of B minor. And then he plays the B minor arpeggio. And then outlines the third of A. So he's using the same material, subtle variations. Sometimes it's drop 2. Sometimes it's starting on a low note. Sometimes it's playing an arpeggio and then putting a little line on top to lead into the next chord. You know, instead of just A, G, D. Because I tried playing it like and couldn't, you know, it's impossible. Had I memorized it, might have been a little more easy, a little more playable. It's just so different. Every measure has something different. For such simple changes. Anyway, unbelievably melodic. All this Bach stuff is just crazy how he's taking simple chords. And again, it's Brandenburg 4. I'll put this all in the tab. And you can, you know, this is a great workout. But it also gives you a lot of ideas. This is just one way to finger it. Like, for example, the first measure. Awkward. You could have started the G here, but then you have to, you know, the D is like awkward. And then you have to get the F. See, it's weird. It's all very awkward. But you could refinger these in many different ways. This is just the way I thought was probably the easiest. Had I memorized it so I could actually look at the fretboard, it would have been kind of playable. But it's really nice when you listen to the violin play it. It's like incredibly melodic, and for such simple changes, it's like mind-boggling. Anyway, yeah, so this is the little Bach. We're going to get back to some Sean Lane stuff soon. Another master in his own way. So anyway, I hope this gives you some good arpeggio ideas. And you can combine the string skipping arpeggio, like in G, for example. You can combine it with just a straight arpeggio. And then go into the string skipping. Same with D. You could. And and so forth. All right. Good luck with that.